Hello. It's been a while to all the social medias. I'm actually trying out a new platform. Actually, I'm trying out many new things at the moment, including this red light that I've got. I'm actually going to go for something slightly different. So I started using red light for nighttime. So I changed all my lights. The problem is, um, the problem is during the day I don't actually need red light. But I'm kind of left myself with this thing now. So I may have to actually go because without the light, my room is actually very dark and it looks like I'm in a dark. Shall I just show you guys? See, you can barely see my face. So it's kind of like between those two options. Oh, actually, I might actually have a third option that I can try. So if you're jumping on now, and if you'd like to try out things with me, feel free to do so. I think I can actually see your comment from Riverside. So I used to use StreamYard. I've been told that Riverside is better, so I'm trying it out. Okay, that's just gonna do a couple of little things. So if you're trying, if you love trying, you love to people trying things, come and play with me. Let's see. Do we want more orange or do we want more natural light? Actually, I don't mind this. Okay. Yeah, literally today is just me jumping on, connecting to all of my social platforms and just see how they are working. Looks like everything's good. This makes me very happy. So since I'm on, I thought I might as well utilize this time to record my podcast. All right, let's just get things sorted. Don't know how this recording is going to work, whether it's going to be good, bad, ugly, or not. But just thought we'll give it a go, hey? We'll give it a go. Okay, let's see. What's the time now? Dun, dun. A new recording track started due to change in your device. I have not changed my device, but okay. What ifs? Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to go 3:30. Okay. 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 So this is my attempt to try out Riverside for the first time. And also I thought I'll utilize this opportunity, one, to connect with you guys, and two, to test out this thing. A bit of update and also a bit of discovery, also to talk about things that I've learned. So I'm just going to turn my phone onto airplane mode. By the way, if you're watching at all on any platforms, please say hello. And me on the other side, I'm just going to check my own status. I am live. Oh my god, I am live on Facebook. Let me see. Oh my god, I am live on. This is really about testing out different things, hey? Okay. So it looks like I won't be able to see any comment on the social. Okay, let's check LinkedIn. Live on LinkedIn as well. Yay. So, okay, assuming YouTube is working as well. Let's turn this on airplane mode. Which I love. Okay. All right, now we're ready. The time is 5:15. Just going to record the time so my editor Shane knows that is the time, maybe 6 minutes. Okay. All right, let's get it started. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang. I'm kind of nervous and excited. Oops. Okay, I'm just going to literally pack everything away and start again, so I don't touch anything. I have a tendency of getting too excited and touch things and creating bang noises. Let's start again. Hello, hello, hello. I am Lala Angela Wang, your host of the Womanly Way podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this episode again. This is quite a special episode, I have to say. The reason that it's quite a special episode is because I'm actually trying out something new. You may not know this. It may seem like, if you look at me on the social, that I'm trying out new things all the time. But the reality is I hate trying new things. I really don't like trying new things. I'm a creature of comfort. And a lot of times I think this is like, I can just imagine seeing my spiritual guides sitting there going, oh my God, just do it already. But quite often for me to step into change, it actually requires a lot of courage on my own part, a lot of pushing. Trying Riverside, oh my God, I don't know. I probably knew about this software for at least 9 months now. And finally, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to try. But I've also been off the screen for a while when it comes to recording my podcast, because the last time I recorded, I have attracted a lot of trolls, a lot of people with their opinion, and they didn't really listen to the whole thing. They just decided to go on attack mode. And I do admit that it was a very sensitive topic. I tried to deliver it as fair and reasonable as I possibly can. But obviously, the message didn't get across correctly. And it created a lot of misunderstanding, which, I just didn't want the anxiety. So I actually took that episode down. I don't know. At some stage, I may want to re-record it with a slightly different tone and conversation, because I do believe that it is an important conversation. So what sparked this episode is really, I thought I'd better try the software. Apparently it can record and transcribe at the same time, which makes me really excited, because I'm all about utilizing my creative outlets, but also repurposing things that I do. That saves a lot of time, obviously, as a mom, a busy mom, and a creator. That allows me to express myself in many different ways, which I love. So I thought we'll start this episode with a bit of update. And then I want to talk about the mental health space, which is something that I am so passionate about, and the 7 pillars that I now see as the foundation of a well-rounded and harmonious personal health. So I have to kind of backtrack and start from, this year. I did my astrology reading with my astrologer, Melanie. And one of the big things that Melanie picked up on this year, I'm in a sixth house. For those of you that knows astrology, you know that the sixth house is all about health and career. And believe it or not, health and career has really been the focus for me this year. I'm in the middle of a very huge career transition. Also in the middle of a very huge health revolution. I wouldn't call myself a full biohacking person just yet, but I am being guided every single moment this year to go down the biohacking route, right? It all started with some magic mushroom juice, and then phobic minerals. And now I'm actually looking at revamping the way that I live, the way my family lives. Um, really, it's really how I can support my family through biohacking so that we could live longer, live better, live healthier, and in turn, generate more impact on this planet in this lifetime. But also, it's just the environments that we're in, the environments that our kids are in right now, it's not the same as 40 years ago when I was little, right? 40 years ago was bad, now it's worse. And I was actually having a conversation with one of my colleagues who's kind of came out of the closet because of some of the conversations that we had. You know, they just not wouldn't have it with normal people. They just don't have that awareness about biohacking, about health, about supplementation. And our biggest concern really is our next generation. What kind of world and what kind of opportunity and what kind of education and lives do we want to provide our kids with? It's not all doom and gloom, but it requires courage, it requires leadership, it requires commitment from us as parent to lead our family with our best intentions, but also sometimes it is a little bit of a scientific experiment, right? You do the best that you can as parent, but you don't know what you don't know. And all we wanted to do is to provide our kids with the best. So we talked about, in a brief 30-minute conversation at lunchtime, we talked about education systems, we talked about health, and we talked about all the things that, we're sharing notes because he's a keto. I am a carnivore. And we're just sharing notes about, what we know supplementation wise, what things we're taking. So it's really interesting. I think the way that there are more and more people that are awakening to the truth. I don't even want to go down that spiritual route. I just want to talk about practical sense, right? It's like, do you take the red pill or the blue pill? And this is a typical conversation that I'm having all the time now. Once you know, you know. You can't take it out of, once you've seen it, you can't unseen it. So I've got this, I've got a Philip water bottle with a built-in filter cartridge because water, the quality of my water is important to me. And I've actually tested a lot of the filters that you have in office spaces and out there. They're not that great. Depending on whether they get serviced or not, and the quality of the filter and what type of filter they are, not all of them, not all filtered water, not all filters and not all filtered waters are created equal. So I had one for a very long time now, probably more than a year. And it was just getting a little bit run down and tired, and thought, I deserve to have a new water bottle. So I got myself a new water bottle. I cleaned it, I washed it, I rinsed it. I rinsed the filter cartridge and I put it in my water bottle. Because it was lunchtime, there's a lot of people around. And they're like, oh, what's this thing? I'm like, oh, it's a water bottle with a built-in filter cartridge. And like, oh, but you filling your water bottle with filtered water and you're filtering again? I'm like, yes. because I care about the quality of my water. And people start laughing at me. They're like, oh, this must be some sort of water conspiracy theory. I'm like, well, do you know whether can you actually trust what's been filtered? And then there's this girl um, whose mum is a doctor and who recently gone through surgery to remove like um, a I don't even know whether you call it a cyst or anyway an ingrown that doesn't belong to part of her body through surgery inside her body, and they had to take it out like inside her stomach or her uterus. That basically you get the juice, that part of her body. And she's like, oh, I just drink tap water. I just drink water straight out of the tap. I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, no wonder. No wonder, right? And these are the things, once you have that awareness, really you just can't. You just can't erase it from your head. And I really cringe nowadays for people who drink tap water. I'm like, only if you know what's in there, For me, I'm this person that double filters my water at home. I've got a UV filter water that's not great with like metal. So then the UV at least kills the bacteria, and then I use a Brita filter to filter out um the heavy metals in my water and also the chlorine taste. Right. So there is a difference when you have clean water that tastes clean and when you have tap water. Now I can go down this whole water rabbit hole a bit later. But to me, because our body is made out of 70% water, that's the most important thing for me. And that really was the beginning of my journey in terms of recommitting back to my health in a very different way. Now, to a lot of people, you'll be like, what do you mean by recommitting? I went through a period back in 2000 and between 2010 to 2015, I was really, really, really focusing my health. And at one stage, I was even contemplating becoming a personal trainer, but I just couldn't be bothered learning about body parts and human anatomy. So I didn't go through that. But I know how to train a body, I know how to work out. But back in those days, there's not a lot of love that I have for my body in terms of, I do supplementation, I eat a certain way because I want to get lean and bulk and my six pack. That was all I was focusing on. So there's not a lot of love. It's a very masculine way to get healthy. And it's really a motivational speech, a away from motivation rather than a towards motivation. Whereas now for me, this year, it's how can I love and honor and respect this body and give it the best that it fully deserves so I can live longer, so I can be on this planet for longer for my family, so I can see my son and my grandkids and, just all those things out of wanting to create more love in my life and doing so in my own body. I've only also started to tap into next level of love because this is what I believe. In order to attract another soul, because we are on the process of preparing our body and our home and everything for a second child. Not pregnant yet, but preparation is everything, in my opinion. That's how George was conceived, and it worked really well the first time around. So we're literally doing this again the second time with more intention. Obviously, I'm over 40 now, so with more intention, more focus. And so I started this next level love ritual as well. So there's from a spiritual perspective and a emotional perspective as well, I think. And only today I've listened to a training by Athena Bailey, who is a coach and a mentor who I truly respect. Not just an acquaintance as well. I would like to think that we're friends. yeah, about worthiness. She talked a lot about worthiness, and I really feel called to really stepping into my next level worthiness. So all of that to me is linked to what I'm doing now in alignment with my sixth house, with my body, with my career. Everything is linked to more love, more empowerment, more worth, self worth, worthiness, and deserving, right? And every step I take, there's new product that comes out, and there's new the things would get presented to me, and I would know that that's the right path to go down to. So this brings a really good segue to these 7 things that I have now implemented. Obviously, there are other things that's on top of it. So I've implemented the 7 pillars. And on top of the 7 pillars, I've also started not going back to the gym more, but actually started my own home gym. That's really, really simple. Literally, at the moment, I've got a set of 3 kilos or 4 kilo dumbbells and a set of 0.5. I can't find my 1 kilo at the moment, so I'm using the 0.5, which is actually really good for repetitive small movement. And then I use the 4 kilos when I do squats and lunges. And the idea is, as busy mums or parent, how often do we say, well, actually, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to go to the gym. I don't have the time to go for a walk. Well, this is my comeback to my lazy self, tapping back into my, personal trainer trainings. Instead of doing long sessions, I do 10, 15 minutes. In fact, what I do is I do a set of 50 squats, a set of I said it was 25 lounges each side. And now, recently today, move up to 30 with my heavy weight. And then with the lightweight, I use it all on my, I do small movements with my arms. So that probably about super quick, small exercise on my arms with lightweight. And I build up to it. And also depending on how demanding, the household situation is. But the aim is to do it for 10 minutes and then repeat that whenever I can during the day. Right? It's really about just getting your body moving, just getting your body used to weight and movement, because not all of us has half an hour, but we all have 5 and 10 minutes that we could do, put our kids in front of a TV and we can exercise. I know TV might be a bad thing, but sometimes you got to do what you've got to do, right? And that's what I've been doing. Or like today, Scott is home, we'll let George play on his own and we'll be doing house chores and things. So it's really, for me, exercise now becomes this thing that I create 5 to 10 minutes whenever I can, rather than, thinking that I have to go to the gym, have to commit myself to an hour, which could be hard sometimes when you've got a toddler and a job and a business and a podcast and all the things to run. So, it's really about working around things that works for me. So on top of that, that's probably the thing that's, let me think. Yeah, that's probably the thing that's the 8th thing outside of my 7 pillar. Um, with that, I'm just thinking, is there anything else I want to say before we jump in? No. Let's jump into the 7 pillars. So this, I started doing the pillars without giving it a name. But then this came to me about 2 days ago. Like, really, what I'm doing is really linked to the 5 element theory, which is a Chinese traditional like medicine type thingo, with 2 additional things. So the 5 element theory in China, in Chinese 5 element theory, essentially talks about the 5 element: the fire, the water, the earth, the wood, and the metal. And we believe that everything on this planet is formed out of these 5 elements. And in order to have a harmonious, healthy, vessel, right, we have to balance and create harmony within the 5 element. Now, I know a lot of people go into a lot more complicated theories and things and linking the 5 elements with our organ and how you strengthen your organ and chi and meridian. But I'm all about simplicity. There are some people that talked about you eat the 5 colors, and that gives you balance in your 5 harmony. I'm not so much a color person, but I prefer to look at the essence of the 5 element. So if you really look at it, let's go from fire. To me, fire is sunlight, right? That's the easiest source of getting a fire element balanced. And sunlight is readily available to us, except that we don't get ourselves exposed to it anymore. Right? It's really simple. And you're like, oh, but I get sunburned, and just put sunscreen on. I'm never an advocate for sunscreens. One, because a lot of them has lots of chemical in them. Two, fun fact, I've been single for a long time before I met Scott, and I used to go to the beach alone. I still go to the beach alone because Scott doesn't like to go to the beach because he doesn't want to get sunburned. George, for some reason, isn't quite into the beach just yet. But when I put sunscreen on my own back, you know how you leave yourself with like finger marks? I don't like that, So then what's the point of only putting where I am? Because I always end up with some sort of finger mark. So I'm never a sunscreen person. And it turned out it's not a bad thing. So with this system, you really wouldn't get sunburned. You want to make sure there's sunlight on your skin. So it doesn't mean you have to get direct sun hit, but you need sunlight on your skin, which means just get outside, right? 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. The nighttime sunlight is actually different color and tone, so that the sunlight at sunset is actually more of a reddish tone, which then tells your body, hey, mate, it's time to rest. And then sends brain signals to our brain to start winding down. So let me reframe this. From your eye and your body and your brain start receiving the signal that it's sunset, about to go into night, it takes another 4 hours for your body to go into repair mode. Okay? And what happens in our day-to-day life is that, yes, the sunset, even if you have received the sunset light, all of our lights at home are actually, mimicking daylight. So what does that mean? That means your brain is still receiving daylight signals, which means it doesn't receive the sunset signal. Which means by the time you turn your lights off and go to bed, it takes another 4 hours before your body hits repair mode. And that's if you're lucky. If you have any light, let's say some people prefer to sleep with the night light on, depending on what that night light is made out of, you could never hit repair mode. And that's why so many of us are tired, even though we had lots of sleep, or even if we had sleep, because your body is not repairing itself or didn't have enough time to repair, right? If you take a typical person who watch TV until 12 o'clock and then go to bed, 12 o'clock midnight, it takes 4 hours for your body to go into repair mode. And by the time it hit repair mode, it's already 4 in the morning and you're up at 6. So you only had 2 hours to repair your body. What if you allow your skin to expose itself to the sunset light, the red light at sunset? And this explains why I had my red light on earlier. And then you have red light in the body. You have blue light blockers that has got a red filter on it. It's essentially simulates the red light from the sunset light, the sun. Then that's 4 hours from you start wearing your glasses, right? Let's say I start wearing my glasses at 7 o'clock, 8, 9, 10, 11. By 11 o'clock, if I go to bed, then my body's going to hit repair mode pretty quickly. And that gives me 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of repair compared to 2 hours, right? So it's so important because, and it's so simple to give ourselves optimum health is to allow our body to repair itself. So 2 hours, 10 minutes at sunrise or 10 minutes as soon as you wake up, within 30 minutes to an hour of you waking up, expose yourself, your skin to sunlight, 10 minutes before sunset. And then half an hour in the middle of the day. Now, if you can't do middle of the day, at least what I would suggest is have your lunch, go out for a walk for half an hour. And I think half an hour is good because it's not enough of exposure for you to get sunburned, right? And I say it's not direct sunlight. You want to make sure your skin hits the sunlight, but you don't have to be directly under the sun. That's my opinion. If you're worried about getting burnt, you don't have to be directly under the sun. You want to make sure your eye sees the light, your skin gets exposed because there's reflection as well. The UV gets reflected, right? So that's okay too. You can see I'm very passionate about it because we only gone through one element. I'm still talking about it. The second one is water, which we kind of touched on earlier. And it's super important to me because we're 70% water, right? Our brain is majority water and fat. So high, good quality water. I'm not a big believer in super alkaline water. I believe that still need to be a little bit acidity in the water, just because, like, if we think about our stomach, it's actually relying on the stomach acids to digest the food. So you do need a little bit of acidity. I believe, a 6 or 7. Some people believe in 5. I think 6 is a good sort of kind of like more neutral than acid or alkaline. I believe when our stomach is too alkaline, it can't actually process and digest the food properly. And that's why I don't even worry about some people saying when you have meat, it's too acidic, because our stomach actually needs a little bit of acid to help digest food. That's my belief, right? So plenty water, but make sure it's good quality water. Definitely not from tap water. If you want to be a little bit more extreme, you can be like me. I've actually got a pH level measure thing that also measures the amount of metal content in the water as well, because too much metal our body won't be able to digest, and that's when we end up with kidney stones. Okay, so that is water. What should we go on to next? Let me feel into it. Earth is another easy one, called grounding, like really just allowing your feet on the ground. And I think this is important, right? Especially in the city these days. You want to make sure the garden you are in is not man-made. Like, a lot of gardens are now built on top of concrete slabs, like on top of car parks, public infrastructure, or you might have an apartment that's got an elevated garden. Those are not natural grounds. When I say natural grounds, it's going out there into, like, literally a park, a natural park or a natural reserve or a forest or national park, so you can be literally connected to Mother Earth. There's so many viridian points underneath our foot. That's why the Chinese believes in foot massage. When we stand on the ground barefooted, it allows our body to repel anything we don't need, and also absorb the ground's natural vibration and frequency and electromagnetics, which is what replenishes our body. Now, you might be saying, hey, don't have that much time to do that. Completely agree, right? Not everybody has access to parks these days, as sad as it is, or even have time to take your shoes off, socks off and just stand on the ground. I tend to lay on the ground sometimes, but nowadays I start to force myself to stand to move around, right? Because we sit so much, and I really want to get the bottom of my feet in contact with ground rather than just my body, because I just believe that as a point, that's a good point of contact, and it's a lot more powerful. It's hard to explain, but when I'm laying on the ground, I feel the healing. But when I'm standing on the ground, it just things move a bit quicker. Maybe it's my internal beliefs, um, you know, but you can do both. Both works. Laying or standing. You can sit if you're feeling a bit lazy. But yeah, laying or standing would be my preference. Now, if you can't, you can also buy grounding mats these days. It could be a complete bed cover, like your mattress protector. It goes underneath your bed sheet. So these are essentially mats that gets charged with very small amount of electric current that is mimicking the Earth's electric current, and that provides healing, which is good because if you're sleeping on them, imagine, you know, having that current run through you, having that grounding for 6 hours or even 10 hours. That's great, right? So grounding is important, and there's so much science that's been done, about grounding. It really heals. It's got significant amount of healing power. And the other thing is really EMFs. Now there's good electrical current and there's bad electrical current, right? That's man-made. So EMFs obviously are bad. We literally remove all transmission devices out of our bedroom now. Some days I remember, some days I'm too tired to remember to switch off our Wi-Fi. Because we're renting, we're not as extreme as making sure that everything's wired. But our phone is definitely out of the bedroom, in the living room, in the furthest corner away from our bedrooms that we can. When George was little, we used to have a baby monitor, and now the baby monitor's out of his room because that's lots of EMF. I'm sorry, George. I think sometimes it's the balance, right? There are benefits in terms of modern day technology, and sometimes there's not. And it's just really finding the balance. And I truly believe our body can still heal ourselves if we do it right. So we're in this healing phase as a family. So I will be, that truth be told, I will be looking into these grounding mat, grounding pillowcases, and all of that, and start to implement that through our body, and through our entire family. Now, wood, for me, mushrooms through and through, but also any herbal medicine. I love Chinese herbal medicines because I know if you use them right, they have the best healing powers. And mushrooms is just a type of the herbal medicine that my ancestors used. And everybody knows healing powers of mushrooms. It's just common knowledge in the Eastern world, right? Unfortunately, the Western world is just picking up now. But if you can get your hands on good quality medicinal mushroom powders and implement them as part of your regimen, um, that's great. Supplementation, if you can. Um, like, I don't know, for me, I have so much more appreciation of the knowledge that gets passed down from my grandparents' days to my mum and then to me in terms of what to take. And I'm so glad that there are postpartum services, meal delivery services available in the Chinese community when I had George, because postpartum, that 1 month repair period, I was so grateful that I had it. My health, my periods, my body just became even better. I feel like I have how do I describe it? It's like I have a stronger base and root system now that I am a mom postpartum compared to before. Like my periods are, the flows are so much better, you know, and just everything's better. Everything about my hormones better, especially since I started taking these mushrooms. And also the next thing, the metal element is actually all about mineral supplementation. Ever since I started taking these minerals and mushroom supplements, I have no period signs, no period pains, no PMS symptoms. I can just feel my body regenerating and rebalancing and reharmonizing itself. And the reason that mineral is important, right, is because our ground and our water no longer has the minerals and the rich, I want to say support, but no, it's they're not as healthy as what they used to be. Essentially, all the essential minerals that used to be in the ground, in the water, which then our plants and our animals take and absorb, are no longer there. Right. So really, you think you would get all your minerals and all your supplements, or your not supplements, but like all your minerals and vitamins through your food, but they're actually not there anymore. So we really have to supplement and replenish. So one of the very common deficiency is actually magnesium. And really, magnesium is one of those things you just have to supplement. There's so many of us that are magnesium deficient, zinc deficient, and iron deficient. And I really highly recommend with any supplement, if you can take it in liquid form, that's always, liquid is always best. So in terms of order, liquid, powder, and then tablet is the last option. Even with tablets, capsules, and then solid tablets, because it takes your body so much longer and so much energy to digest just all the coatings and all the things, all the fillers in there. So if you can ever find a liquid form that you can just take on the spot, that's always the best. Otherwise, powder form dissolve in water. You can actually get liquid. If you have a herbalist or a naturopath, sometimes they will give you liquid that dissolves in water and you can just drink it that way. Or there are actually brands out there that start to sell liquid form vitamins and minerals as well. So do those. I just think we really need to be responsible for our own health and our family's health these days, just because the government wouldn't, the pharmaceuticals obviously wouldn't, and the Western medical world, my dad's a Western doctor, is really all about fixing diseases, right? It's not about prevention, whereas the Chinese medicine is really all about prevention, in my opinion. So we really need to start educating ourselves and associate ourselves with people that we feel aligned with around our health. So to recap, the 5 elements, you have fire, which is the sunlight, water, which is the quality of your water, earth, which is grounding, wood, which is herbal medicine or medicinal mushrooms, and then there's minerals, which is metal, which is about our mineral deficiency and supplementation. There's 2 more that I added to the 5 element, which is also 2 very important things in Buddhist and Taoism practice, which is our heart, Xin, and our spirit, Ling. And it don't have to be complicated. A lot of people might think, oh, does that mean I have to meditate? Does it mean I have to do, some sort of practice? To me, heart is really all about love, compassion, and gratitude. Love sometimes can be hard. I talked about how I'm doing this heart expanding exercise or practice that allows me to love the next level as a way to attract the next soul into our family. But you don't have to do that. It can be as easy as having a gratitude journal. It can be as easy as sending love to loved ones, right? It can be as easy as filling up your own love tank. But I truly believe the practice of gratitude is the foundation of heart opening. So it can be as easy as whether you want to do it at night or whether you want to do it first thing in the morning. Write 3 things that you're grateful for and why. When we just write the things that we're grateful for, we're not fully tapping into the energy. But when we write, I'm grateful for this and this is why, and really tapping into the feeling, we can truly feel the power of gratitude. And love is the highest frequency of them all in terms of when we talk about frequencies and vibration. So love can heal a lot of things. And when we can continue to expand our heart and, live on a heart-centered space and spreading love, it heals a lot of things. I'm not going to make medical claims here, but it can heal a lot of things. And then lastly is spirit. Now, spirit to me really doesn't mean meditation for 3 weeks. Sorry, 3 weeks, 3 hours a day. It doesn't mean that you have to go into the silent retreat. To me, spirit really is connecting to your own divinity. Connect to your own spirit, right? And really, it doesn't need to be complicated. It really can be, I'm just going to meditate. I'm just going to meditate for 5 minutes. I'm just going to love myself and give myself the space for 5 minutes. But you know what? When we connect to the round of spirits the most? Bedtime. That's why we call them dream weaves, when we're dreaming and tapping into the energy of spirit when we're sleeping. In the spirit community, some of us does go travel at nighttime. Our dreams are messages. So I truly believe in terms of spirit, taking after your spirit. We talked about this thing about sleep earlier, right? It's having good quality sleep because your body cleanses itself. You can set the intention to clean up your dream weaves. You get messages, you get downloads. Even if we don't want to talk about messages and downloads, just the act of sleep, good quality sleep, and allowing you to cleanse your body is an amazing thing. It recharges your spirit, right? It re-cleans your channel. It allows you a better connection to yourself, to your brain, to your heart, to every part of you. And allows you to connect to a higher version, because when our vessel, which is this body that we live in, is optimized, then we are able to optimize our life. Right? We're able to live and be the optimal version of ourselves. How often do you feel like when you're healthy, when you're fit, and when your life is in order, you attract better opportunities, right? Because your fields are squeaky clean. When we're sick, our body is the last thing. It's actually a physical, I guess, it's a physical manifestation of the things that we need to work on. So when we have things that we need to work on spiritually, mentally, or emotionally that hasn't got processed, that got deposited, I'm going to use the word, into our body, it creates disease. And accumulated disease creates disease, right? So any ailment, any I guess, symptoms in our body generally is the last resort for our body, for our spiritual guide to show them, to show us what work we need to work on. It become a physical manifestation of maybe some of the things that we're suppressing emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Generally, emotionally. So when we can have a clean vessel, that means we are addressing the things that we need to addressing, that allows us to step onto a timeline and a path that is of our highest good. And that's why we can attract things into our lives with ease that are aligned and that's of our highest representation, right? So if you think about this and you think of it in reverse, when we cannot attract things, when we continue to manifest things and we're unable to attract them, like we want to manifest, we desire to have these things, but they're not coming into our lives, often what we actually need to ask ourselves is, in what areas of my life I still have little things that I need to work on that I'm avoiding working on? What are some of the things that I need to work on that is preventing me from manifesting my highest and truest good? Or maybe what you have to ask yourself is, number one, is this aligned to what I'm meant to be doing? Is this aligned to my best version of me? And if it's not, then hey, it's not for me. But if it's aligned and it's something that I truly, truly desire, that I know it's going to benefit me, my community, and the world, then I need to ask myself, what is it that I still need to work on that's preventing me to have this clean vessel to attract the things that I needed? It might be worthiness, it might be love, it might be deservedness, which is the same thing. It might be, your boundaries. It might be self-love. It might simply be your confidence. Or you might be in the energy of lack. You don't feel like you're worthy of or deserving of receiving. It could be a myriad of things. But if we can at least take care of our foundation, which is these 7 pillars, and build a strong foundation for our physical body, then that would manifest itself into a cleaner vessel and then also a cleaner channel for us to manifest the life that we truly desire. I know it's a lot to cover, right? And honestly, you can see how passionate I am about this and how passionate I am about helping myself and other people to create better foundations in terms of the health. And this is not just your physical health, like physical, mental, emotional, and even spiritual are all linked. And when you can start with these 7 pillars, it allows you to clean up so much junk and things that we don't need in our lives. Like for me now, I was saying to Scott this morning, I feel like I finally caught up with my sleep because I'm starting to wake up before sunrise. And it's like my body's saying, I had enough. Get me out of bed. Let's do something. I have not felt like that for a very, very long time. So that's amazing, right? And I think that's a good sign. It's a positive sign. And just lately, I have so much more energy. Obviously, besides some of the sickness that we've been going through and the purging that we've been going through as a family, I really, for once in my life, since, I don't know, as long as I can remember, I've got the energy back, which I love. And now I can start adjusting, just like my exercise routines, I can start adjusting things and really planning ahead now. Because I feel like I've actually, through doing this, I've actually have more space. I've created more space in my life in order to consolidate and incorporate and adjust which is just a beautiful space to be in. So, if you have any more questions about this, feel free to contact me through the socials or through my email, mywomanlyway@gmail.com. Always happy to answer any of your questions. If you want me to riff on any particular part of this, yeah, all suggestions are welcome. And obviously, I'm still on this path, so I'll continue to share with you guys my journey, my experience, how I'm going, any updates. It's just a very exciting period. To me, it's all about experimenting and share my wisdom on the show. So, I mean, if you have anything that you want me to experiment on, always open to try different things as well. On that note, thank you so much for listening. And for those of you watching me live, thank you for watching. Hopefully, this Riverside recording works. And we'll be doing a bit more of this for as long as we can. Love you all so much. Have a lovely, gorgeous week. And I shall see you all next time.